Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss, and look what we got with us.
What up?
You introduced yourself.
So, I mean, hey, as you can see it, creator Travis. Like that's
The
who I
main
am.
creator himself, Travis. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm down here in
just feel
Florida
like-
right now.
Man, you're always.
Well, that was going to be my next question: is
Yeah,
where is here,
yeah.
I am in Florida until next week.
Okay.
and then where you going
And-
then?
I will be in DC for about a month.
Stuff.
Are you looking to have a home base anytime soon?
Yeah, honestly, it's coming down to where work has me basically. So it's between Atlanta, DC, Chicago, Dallas, and possibly California. I just don't know where. So it really, I don't know where it's going to be, but yeah, that's probably one of the places I'm going to be settling for at least a couple years.
Nice.
But you,
Nice.
so basically, you're going to be in a major city. It's not like you're going to Bismarck, North Dakota.
No. I hope not. Now, if I get a client that says, "Hey, we're gonna give you, 2.5 to come out here to redo our whole system," I guess I'm going to Bismarck, North Dakota. But
There you go.
other than that, I'm trying to stay somewhere. I'm a city boy, so I have to be close to a city. I can't. If there's no basketball team, I don't think I'm gonna go there. Let's be honest with you. If there's no basketball team, I don't think I'm gonna go there. So, but we'll see.
You know what's funny? I was actually thinking about you last night because the All-Star game was on, and I was like, man, I want to go to an All-Star game because I remember you just try to get to games and try to get down low as much as you can. Have you ever been to an All-Star game?
I've never been to the game.
Been,
Or
like,
the
for the
Saturday.
weekend?
I've been there for the weekend. Yeah, it was in Vegas in 2007. I will never go back unless I am
Wow.
like, it's just too much. It's too much. It literally was just too much. Like being there, I got annoyed with some of the people I was there because they were friends of people that I knew and I didn't really know them, and their habits just annoyed the hell out of me. Like we walking down the strip and they're hollering at every unattractive person, and I'm like, yo, fam, I'm not about to.
Oh,
I can't do the complaining about how much stuff costs. You try and go to a party and it's like, no, and my friend that went, this what made it bad was a friend of mine went, and I went with a different group of friends, and he would tell me, he's like, yo, I'm going to go to this party by myself. You want to roll? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna hang with these guys, X, Y, and Z. Then the next day he's like, oh my God, I was in VIP with Braylon Edwards, and he saw me, and it would be the most random thing. He would see somebody from college that we went to, and they were friends with somebody, and he would be in VIP every night. He was dancing with this celebrity woman. He got pictures. He's sending me pictures like, oh, look at this woman I just ran it. I'm like, it was the
Did he
worst.
hook up later.
No, he didn't hit me up because he had already told me he was going to go, and I told him, no, I'm going to go stay with this group of people. So, and then I would be annoyed because the group of people I decided to stay with. So it just turned into this. Yeah, no, it wasn't fun, man. I tell you, I'll tell you off mic about some of the people he ran into and what happened, and I was just like, yo, I can't deal with this.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
That's fun stuff. Oh man,
I would like to know, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'd like. I may ask you this: would I like the Saturday night, or would I like the game? I'm asking you because you've been.
I don't. I think Saturday night is the main attraction. To be honest with you, that night goes crazy. That night goes crazy. Is the amount of parties and stuff that are going on, and amount of things that are going on during the day as well as night. It's a different experience. The day, the game, a lot of people are leaving out of town that day. They're not sticking around for the actual All-Star game.
Yeah,
they're
makes sense.
gone. Right. So Saturday night is usually the more fun night, and the events are a little bit better, even though the dunk contest is trash now. But
yeah,
it's like, but you know what? It's like every few years, like there'll be one. Like it was trash.
I'm waiting for a good one because the last one honestly was the Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon one, and I'm like, whoa, when are we gonna get that one again? That was 9 years ago. Right. So it's getting to that point where it's almost a decade of just bad dunks.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Well, I mean, now it makes sense with the way the NBA is, but like Who would have thought that the
The
3-point
three-point
contest
contest.
is the main attraction now, right? Especially
Yeah.
with what they've been doing. I mean, it's
So
crazy,
actually,
but
I'm as exciting as you see something that you like, oh my god, the high isn't as
Yeah.
high as the competition is. So it just is what it
right.
is.
It's just Well, I mean, it makes sense because that's what the game has gone to is 3-pointers more than going inside. So the dunking isn't
Yeah.
going to be, and the shooting's getting better. So pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I wanted to invite Travis on. We hadn't had him on to update everybody. And we need Travis Plowden, on a show, man. We need him back on podcasting every now and then. So
It's
so
I'll say this. There is a show that I'm developing that I haven't had full time my focus on. And when I debut it, people are gonna look at it like, what is this? Like the production of it. Like if I show you the setup I have right now with all the equipment I actually have right now, it's actually gonna be kind of crazy. Like some of the stuff I can do now that is gonna be it's gonna be kind of nuts. Like as a one-man show, all of the equipment that you do for the nighttime finals, I actually have in a compact version that I can do multiple things with. So the level of complexity that I've been working on and things that I've been working on is actually it's gonna be actually kind of dope. So
that's sweet.
Sounds like promoters should have just been listening right now.
Yeah.
And been like, come on.
I haven't
through.
gotten to there's been talks from different promoters asking about would we do it. I don't know yet. It has to make sense, to be honest with you, because the amount of work that goes into one of those shows is a lot, and I don't necessarily know if I wanted to spend my whole weekend doing that. You know what I mean? Like putting that much effort into it, and then I'm probably going to end up charging you just as much as some of the other ones. So it's like, okay, look, I don't necessarily know if I want to do all of that, but I'm looking at it more so as something completely different. Like when it comes to our sport, I think the presentation of it is wrong. Right? Like when you stop and look at one of the main reasons why we don't do live streams is because I don't want the look of that. Like you go to a karate tournament and you do a live stream from a ring and all you seeing is people's butts. And it's like,
well, that's
for
why the
20
first
minutes.
time the live stream happened, it worked really well because when Emily Cooper was on, she talked about this. She goes, listen, I want to do this, but I don't want, and she kind of, I don't know if she said those exact words, but she's like, I don't want it to look like ass. So
it's trash.
I'm gonna control it. So she set up the live stream and she was like the ring coordinator. She was the scorekeeper and the timekeeper, and she did everything. And she had all of the men's fighters in one ring. And that was one of my favorite events. Then when she did it, like when she debuted that, and it kind of has fallen off ever since the debut, because the debut was amazing.
I mean, live streaming at its peak. Like you guys have noticed that, it's a difficult game, right? Like trying to keep people's attention for a long amount of time. So
of course,
live streaming was a huge thing, but it's also saturated, right? Like let's look back to it. Like in the 2020, when the pandemic hit, everybody was inside, so you had to watch something. No new shows were happening, so everybody was online talking, and it was just like you can get a good audience. But now you're not only just competing with people online, but you're also competing with stuff outside offline, different events. People are go back out, so it's hard to do a live stream on a Saturday afternoon and have people to sit back and watch a karate event, and all you're showing is somebody's butts walking back and forth. You don't know what the score is. You don't know what's going on. So it's not a pleasurable visual experience.
I think that's what
it's really hard. Like if Devin, if someone like Devin and Bailey have like an amazing fight, you were like, man, I can't wait for you to watch that video.
You got to go back in there 3 hours, try and find it in the 3 hour time frame or 4 hour time frame. and try and watch it. So it's just not something that I really looked into. And then to be honest with you, I'm about to really probably people are gonna be looking at me like I'm crazy. It's no benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's no real true benefit. Like you're rewarding people for not coming to your event.
Right. Exactly.
It's true.
I mean, just to be honest with you, it's no real true benefit of live streaming. So when people ask me, are you live streaming somewhere? I'm like, no, I'm just going to put them up later. So then you guys can watch each individual competition later and you can actually see these people compete. Now it's more work this way, which is why you haven't seen Caps and American put all that stuff out yet.
Right.
But it's more work that way. But to me, it's just a better product. And so for me, the quality is always going to be the thing I want Martial Arts Center Network to be about, is the quality of the actual things that we put out.
Love it. All right, so a couple things as we move on with the rest of our show. We had a wild thing that happened Thursday. That morning, I got the phone call that Kyle Reed's school was just burnt down, and this was, I'm thinking it was about 10, maybe 11 o'clock when I got the phone call. And it was just wild. Like it was still burning and he lost everything. And then by, I think like 11 o'clock, 11:30, they were like knocking it down. The fire department was knocking the building down. So, but of course, us martial artists, everyone involved, as soon as like something like that happened, everyone rallies around them and support. I mean, I think his the GoFundMe hit their max already, or hit their goal already.
I didn't even see it.
I think by the end of, I want to say by the end of Thursday, but maybe Friday morning, he already found a new place to like sign a lease on a new place to get it going and start the school. Like he really just said, you know what? All right, this day I'm going to be upset. And then, you know what? It's time to put the work in, and he did. So he's doing a lot of great things, a lot of different people, of course, Revolution and all his school really rallied around him. Century, has done a great job of just asking for how to help. So lots of different things. So it's pretty cool, but keep supporting him. If someone that's listening has the GoFundMe link, you can put that in there. Cause I mean, listen, there's so many things that happen when that, yes, he can find a new place, but just think about the downtime. I don't know if he found another place to keep running classes in the meantime. I'm not sure, I just know when that happens to you, something like that, it's wild and crazy, right? I didn't lose my building, but I thought my building was going to fall when I had the car that ran through it, right? So I didn't know, and I wasn't allowed to enter this building for, I don't know, it might have been like 3 or 4 weeks. So there are things like that. You just don't know what's going to happen, right? So really just big ups to that whole family out there for supporting.
So I've never had or experienced any kind of fire, I'm gonna knock on something right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
But the one thing I know is that anybody who I've known who has had that, they have all said that they would not wish that on their worst enemy, right?
Right.
So like my cousin, this is a wild one, right?
Yeah,
because you got to think about it. Like it's not Kyle's house. I mean, it kind of is, all right?
Yeah,
kind of is.
Everything was in there. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's what we do, right? We're gonna keep everything. You don't want to keep everything in it. And if it's all right, it's just everything martial arts related. Well, that's what we are. We're martial artists. Guess what means most to us? It's probably where it is, right? So, like what happened to my cousin, it wasn't even their house. It was her husband's like grandma's house that they were living in because he was going through his residency and he was really close. He was going to land this spot and they were going to buy this new house. They had it ready to go. They were going to put everything down and then poof, like their whole area was like a garage that like got caught on fire, and everywhere they were living in was right above the garage. So everything got caught on fire. And she just told me, she goes, Alex, I literally don't have anything except for what's on my back. Nothing, which is just nuts. I can't even believe that. I can't fathom that.
I don't want to.
Well,
At
Mike,
least they- at least they
you had
still
it too? I didn't
survived.
know that.
Yeah, he's
They did
experienced it. Yeah,
survive. I actually knew somebody whose grandmother passed away in a fire.
in a
Like,
fire. Mm.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, got caught.
Yeah,
Like she was older and it caught on fire. She passed away.
Yeah,
And so yeah,
my cousin
It's-
died in a fire. Yeah, my cousin died in a fire at a
Yeah.
beach house.
so yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's just one of those scary things that you just see.
Yeah,
Like I think it was in Alexander. I was in it was a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. It was a explosion over in Alexandria, in Alexandria, Virginia.
yeah.
Like it just house just exploded.
Boom.
Like
Yep.
it was just like, wait, what? Like yeah, so yeah, it's next topic.
Yeah, I know.
Like so
Yeah,
Kyle, I'm glad everything's okay. Glad
Yeah.
your health is okay. Things can be replaced, but
No one was there. Yep.
yeah.
No one was there.
I mean,
And
yeah, at least it
you
happened in
know,
the morning. At least it didn't happen at like 4:30 in the afternoon, during
Right.
peak time.
and it was his school and also another business that was attached to it too. So two businesses that went down. So, but
Yeah.
everybody
I remember
supported.
Ricky Murray's house got hit by lightning and
Right.
burnt out.
Yes,
Well,
yes,
he
right.
was at the karate school, and so he got the
Yeah.
phone call that his house had been hit by lightning. Yeah.
It's wild.
That's
It's
crazy.
wild. All right, our
Thanks.
next thing. Hope this one's a better topic. This is we talked last week about Joe Boone having his first MMA fight. I just watched the video. Yo, congrats to Joe Boone winning in the third round. I think 30 seconds into the third round. TKO. They threw in the towel. The ref stopped it all at the same time. It was wild, man. Congrats, Joe Boone. That was sick, dude. And
Yeah. Troy,
go ahead
shut
and
up.
say what he had told you.
No,
What'd you
I
say?
watched the video. It was so cool because I was trying to log in and watch it live and I couldn't. Like it was like whatever link I was on, it was not working. And I had people texting me trying to watch it as well. So, but Joe, I talked to him the next day, like, man, we gotta talk. Because I saw like pictures with his hand raised and he's unscathed. Like, did you kick the guy in the head, knock him out? But what happened? Because that would really bother me if I did all that training, sacrificed everything that Joe had to sacrifice. And if you would have just kicked the guy in the head and knock him out, like, see, I went through all that just to do a karate kick. That would
Yes.
that would
Well,
piss
I'm
me off.
sorry. No,
No,
that would not
no,
piss
that
me
would
off.
be great.
That's why that would be my dream because the hard part
know.
is the training. The hard part is the training.
Yeah.
I
Don't
know.
hit my body. Like I don't want to see any punishment.
Well,
I would much rather just go in there.
that's a great point.
Game over. That's the hard part. No.
But
no.
so I talked to him, and I did talk to him, and I'm like, so did you get the itch? You gonna do it again? And he's like, no, I did it. And now it's done. And
It's
you
done.
can't and he can't say that like you can't say like he didn't do like a full fight. No, he did 3 rounds, right? He
Yeah, did
experienced it
full,
all. And as I talked to him, he said like he got taken down within like the first 10 seconds. So
Oh,
it was
cool.
like an oh shit moment, right? But he managed it great and he got out and he was lighting the guy up, but never really like displayed his like martial arts skills, like his actual karate skills or his taekwondo skills. Didn't really
Until-
display them until the third
last-
round,
Yeah.
where now all of a sudden the guy starts backing up, and Joe's like, well, this is the worst spot for you, right? And just side kicks the guy right in the
Like, those-
body.
Like he
And-
chased him with the leg. That's what was
I
funny.
know.
He's like, oh,
wasn't
all
it
right.
cool?
straight
Like,
up
who's
first
gonna
round.
let you do this? You said last part. You should not let him do that to you. And Joe just lights him up right to the body. Guy folds over like expected, like he kicked the body shield. And then Joe just goes to town. They throw the towel in. It was awesome. What was funny, this is the funniest part, all right? Because not everybody's gonna watch this. So the funniest part, they interview him afterwards, and they're like, "Hey, were you nervous?" And he's like, "Oh, you mean when he was mounting me and I was basically done? Yeah, I was nervous, right?" And so they ask him afterwards. They go, "Hey, so you got anything to say afterwards?" And he's like, "Yeah, Brooklyn Park National Karate. You can come in 2-week trial." And he just promotes his school. I'm like, this is great. This is perfect.
I love it. Yo, one of the most impressive things I watched was actually during the first round. Okay, so him changing it from being in full mount, being a guy on top of him, reversing it, And then at one point they're kind of in a scramble, and he's to the side. He's like defending a takedown, and he's punching the guy while he's on his knee. And while on one knee, he like throws like a knee from the ground, like
wrecks him.
And like you would say you were standing through a front kick. He did that with the knee, like kind of like how I used to do the kicks on the knee. He kind of like did that, right? I was like, whoa, that was impressive. How did he do that? Like, that was cool. I was like, whoa.
When he told me about that, it made sense to me when he told me about it. But then when I watched it, I was like, how did you even think to do that? Like, I would have just kept punching him. Like,
right.
And that's me saying
it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. Like, it reminded me of like when Uriah Faber or some of those guys would do like, well, someone was trying to take them down with one leg, and they would do the jump knee with the other leg when they only had one leg on the ground. That was crazy. That was always crazy to me. Like, what are you doing? Why would you even do that? But all right. But again, man, congrats to Joe Boone. It's cool seeing our guys do things like that. And like you said, why not? Why not try it? And he did. He went out there and got out of his comfort zone and did it, man. That was fun.
I can
all right.
fully guarantee I will not try that.
Yeah. Well, Boone's a little younger than us too, so right.
Yeah, he's like 10 years younger.
I'm about to say a little.
Listen, I don't know. All right, that's wild. Okay, 10 years. Jeez. All right,
he is.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Oh,
but
man.
you know what's funny though is that at one point in that his guy that he was fighting was like he'd been training for like 3 years and he's like 23 years old. And they were asking, Joe Boone, and he was like, what do you think about this? About your training going into it. And he goes, I've been training martial arts longer than this guy's been alive. I'm okay.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh man. All right. So Travis, so we had 3 different shows with Richard Plowden, and it was fun. It's crazy that we finally had him on after all these years of doing the show. And honestly, I feel like we could have him on once a month and be, just have a good old time, because he gets us, we get him. We're kind of all the same. We love this thing, right? We can just talk all kinds of stuff, and it was fun. So what was?
You guys were feeding his addiction.
Yeah, we were feeding his addiction, like he said. What was your take, man? What did you think of watching those shows with your uncle?
I mean, there's stories that I've heard, like for the most part.
Yeah.
The only story that shocked me was I didn't know he was there at the raid, right? Like I didn't know that he was actually at SES's headquarters when the FBI came in. I didn't know that. I knew I got when I heard about it, I got the phone call. I remember exactly where I was at. I was at my parents' house sitting on the couch, and I remember picking up the phone. He was like, "Happened, it's over." So what are you talking about? I remember it was like the summer. And he was like, "Yeah, SES, where it's done. Like they got in trouble, some IRS stuff." And then I started thinking back to certain things that were said during conversations that and I remember thinking like, that doesn't sound right. But I'm 20 years old, so I don't really know what's going on. But when you hear certain things, it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, but whatever. And so so I mean, did he tell you about the lion and everything, right? He told you about the lion.
The what?
Oh,
the owner had owned a lion that just walked around his place.
No, I would remember that. What?
He didn't say that on the air. No, I had heard that from someone else. But yeah, no.
I made. It was like it was the owner that we didn't really talk to. So it was 2 owners, and it was the owner that we didn't really interact with. We interacted with Dennis Lamka, and there was the other one. The other one, I can't remember his name, but he had a lion. I was like, I'm never going up to this guy's house. If it's just walking around like it's a cat, I'm not going to this man's house. Like that's just insane to me.
No.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, the shows were good. I just kind of sat back and just watched them. Interacted. I mean, spoke a little bit. I was on there a couple times. Saying what I need to say, but for the most part, I just kind of just watched and. Like these are stories that I hear every other tournament, like growing up. And so,
is there a
some of the ones that they redacted that I know the story behind it, and I'm just chuckling at some of the stories.
Right.
Is there a story you
Those
thought was going to
kids.
get told, but didn't get told?
Is there a story that I thought that would have gotten told that didn't? Um, no, not that I can think of. I mean, there's probably stories that you guys probably wouldn't know the characters in them, so it probably wouldn't be like beneficial to talk about them. But I mean, you know, like Drunk Willie. I don't know. I can't remember. He didn't talk about Drunk Willie. Like not Willie Hicks, not
Yeah,
Willie Hicks people.
a different
Like in at our school there was there's characters, like there's little characters that walk around that are just interesting, like just that no matter where we go, no matter what school we were at and what area we were in, there would just be characters, and Drunk Willie was one of them. He was a guy. He was a drunk around the city. Like I would go downtown and would see him, and he would just be drunk, walking around, talking crazy, trying to fight people. Like he was just a character, and it's like what. And sometimes he'd make his way by the karate school. He'd stop in, but the thing that was interesting was my uncle didn't treat him like get out of here. My uncle would talk to him like, Willie, what are you doing? Like, and just have this conversation with him, kind of try and get Willie back on the like out of his drunkenness, I guess, his illness. And then at one point Willie came by and he was sober. Now he fell back off the wagon at some point, but he came by and you just kind of thanked my uncle and just kind of did that. Like some of the stories that you could tell, like having like one of the first Black people to graduate from Michigan State with a space aeronautical engineering degree. Like he used to go to the karate school, young kid, and he would you could tell he was different. Like literally, this kid would literally draw schematics of bombs, not because he wants to blow it up. It's just because his mind is thinking like, how can you do this? How does this work? And so you have these kids there that were just exceptional in different ways. Like my uncle's impact on the community in Detroit is so much bigger than martial arts that it's just like it's amazing to really when you sit back and talk to him. I have so many people walk up to him like, oh my God, thank you, Mr. Plow, and you were the male figure that I needed and all this other stuff. So like his impact, cultural impact throughout this city is known. So so that's what I'm saying. Like certain stories, I didn't think they would get told, but there's stories that show his impact throughout the city.
I'm glad you just shared that, because I think all of us need to know that. Like that's huge.
Yeah,
and again, why would he share that story? You know what I mean? Really,
right.
like
When he's talking about martial arts, and to me, like that would be the main reason I open up a karate school. That would be the main reason to open up my karate school whenever I do settle and land in one place, is because the cultural impact that I saw. Like a lot of people, the stigma of we're about to get into this whole thing, but there's a stigma about Black fathers and all this other stuff, right? Well, in the karate school in the 80s, I didn't experience that, right? My father was there, my grandfather, my uncle was, I was always around my uncle. But in that, Ski and his father came to the karate school, right? You guys don't know him, James Garnett and his father, Peter Davenport, and his father would bring him. It was almost like this thing where the fathers would bring their sons, and we were all grouped together. We'll go to karate tournaments together. We'll hang out. Some of them were married, some of them weren't, but it was like this male bonding experience that people had, right? That's awesome. And in that, single mothers started bringing their kids there because it was positive Black role models that were there, and they were being around. That's where you get like Willie would be around all the time, and some other people who might have had different issues. So it became this community that was there, and so the cultural impact is a lot larger than just kicking and punching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So
I mean, it is big time. That's really cool to hear though as well, because I mean, so many martial arts instructors are that type of role model, or I should say it differently. They have the responsibility of being that role model. Some don't really want it.
Yeah.
some don't care, and some understand the responsibility that they have because of the position that they're in, and then have that kind of impact.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's
so
true.
so it's just kind of one little
Yeah.
thing, but yes, but the shows were dope, man. Like I enjoyed them. So it's listening to my uncle talk and all the different things like that was going on. So
All right. So who's another person that maybe you would be interested in hearing? Because again, you know these stories, right? Who's someone else? Because we're always someone that
That-
maybe has that same knowledge and maybe
Impact?
impact.
let me think of somebody who would be a good person to have
that's the
on the
thing, too.
show.
Right.
Well, because it's you can have a person on the show. I'm trying to get somebody out the box. If you really want to get a show going and really go, Tank.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Tank
Yeah,
definitely.
Larry.
Tank. Yeah. Larry would because Larry likes to talk.
He's good.
Right, he's a martial
of
artist and he likes to talk. So if you
Yeah.
have him on the show, that would be one
Yeah.
of those shows that I think that would probably pop. I
You know
think
what- and you know what the problem about that is? Larry's really smart,
that's a
and
problem.
and because he also knows it.
Yeah,
So he's not that he's smart, it's that he's smart and he knows it, and he knows he's probably smarter than you. So like, what am I gonna do? Disagree with the guy? Like, I'm pretty sure he's right. So
yeah.
but I've always enjoyed talking with him. I have a great time with him. We have a
who
great
has to be
relationship.
on that has to be number one on y'all list that you guys need to have on? Valera.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
That's a hard one though. But yeah, I know.
CeeLo.
But no,
Yeah.
Valera would be probably the number
Yeah.
one person I can think of that would probably make the most
Here's the
sense.
thing.
Right.
It would make sense. I've listened to some podcasts with him. He doesn't want to talk about his sport karate days. So maybe it would be kind of hard. He's one of those guys that's like focused on what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to a podcast and the guy was trying to ask him questions about, his legendary status in sport martial arts. He was just kind of like brushing it on the rug. Whatever. I'm doing the next John Wick movie, or I'm doing the, like stuff like that, like that's just, where his focus is on like, what's next? What's he doing now? And now it's his family and stuff. So, but I think having people that are, especially like even with me asking some things because of our relationship, I think that would be fun,
I'm trying to think of I have somebody in mind, but I don't know. I've never talked to this person, so I don't know what it would be like. But Kim Do. What would he be like?
Didn't I just say that, Jeff?
Yeah. That would be fun too. Yeah.
Kim, he seems like he would be.
Yeah. He's, I think, kind of similar though, but if you got him in that mode to share, he would, he definitely would. So yeah, those are some different ones that we have. Anybody else got let us know? Yes.
Damon would be good. Damon would be a good show.
Yes, Damon would be good.
All right,
Damon
so I'm gonna break the mold on the Damon thing. There is a interview coming with Damon, a sit down interview with Damon, a behind the competitor with Damon. I just have to get to California. I was supposed to do it last summer. Some things fell through. When I was supposed to go to Vegas, right after that, I was going to go to the Bay Area and do a sit down with Dame. But that conversation is going to happen. I just don't know when it's going to actually happen. But there's going to be behind the competitor. Matter of fact, the Damian Rodriguez one, the Ben Stewart one, and the Jesus. Oh my God.
Who the other one was.
No. USA Sport Karate.
Jeremy Roque.
Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's the third one. Those have already been shot. I just need to finish editing them and get those out there. And but yeah, so those three, and then I have to finish up. I have to get out to Cali because that one and a behind the competitor with Jack and Mike P. those three I was supposed to hit all three of those. But yeah, those interviews
Sweet.
are coming soon.
That's good.
We
Yeah,
have
I like
talked
that.
about getting Jack for a while. I remember the Mike P show that we did way back when. You were behind, and as soon as the show ended, you came right on, and you were like, "Dude, this is your guys' best show." Right away, and
Yeah,
it
it
was. Who knows? It still could be up there as one of the best shows.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was a really
So-
fun time, and he's been on
so-
a couple times.
Damien's going to be on soon here. He has a lot of things he wants to talk about, share, that are like happening now, and there's a lot of new things that, I mean, he just stays involved, man. He's a really interesting person right now, always active. We have some other ones that people have mentioned that we're looking forward to. And then some people that maybe, like I'm working on getting Mike Dillard on the show. So some things like that. So that's going to be fun, working on that. So
let me ask you guys this. What promoter do you think would be a good interview?
Dennis Brown.
That's a good one.
I mean, for you guys.
Yeah. I think he says that because Dennis just talks, and he always remembers things from back
Mike,
in the day.
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hector would be great as well.
Hector would be good.
definitely be. The other one that I think would be Charlie Lee. That's who we need next.
We've thought
Charlie would be a great one. And then as far as a current promoter,
Muhammad
Man,
Jahan
that's
Bosch, I think would be good too.
yeah, there's a lot. There's so much.
I think he's a lot more. He's got a lot more to say
Chucky
once
D's,
you
yeah.
sit
He's coming
when you
soon.
sit down and talk to him. He actually opens up and he starts talking a lot more. But you
Yes,
could go
exactly.
3, 4, 5 years and never see that side of him.
Mark, yes.
Marty, yeah. Another one.
You even got to say his
Fantastic
name.
as
Just
well.
say yes. See, that would be a dope interview.
That's coming as well. Don't worry.
You put him and Larry on the show and let's just sit back and
I know.
just let them go. Just let them go.
That's what's fun about this. It's like because our show isn't solely based on interviews. It keeps it all fresh, right? We've been in this over 4 years. If we were done an interview every week, we're like, all right, well, who do we, like it makes it fresh where we can do anything, and that's what's been fun about it. We can keep it. Hey, you know what? There's so many topics, it's busy and we have a lot of stuff after a big tournament, right? We could really do 2 or 3 weeks on like the AKA Warrior Cup, right? We kind of did, and then bring someone on. You're like, you know what? You need to be on again. Let's do it again. It's just fun, man.
It's funny.
What?
I still call it the Grand, AKA Grand National.
Yeah,
Grand Nationals.
I still call it
yeah.
that. I still, even though it's been Warrior Cup for like 20 years or whatever it is, but I still
I
call it
always
the
call
Grand
it AKA. Yeah. For me, I've always
I
called
go
it
back and
AKA.
forth.
I
I would
just
say
say
AKA,
AKA.
but
And a lot of people say Warrior Cup. And I say AKA. They're like, what? You mean Warrior Cup? Yeah, AKA, Granite, whatever. Like, all right.
yeah, it's AKA.
Oh, man.
What y'all say?
Well, here's
right.
what I'll say about guests.
Go ahead. Lauren.
And we're running out of time. I don't want to make it sound like that, but listen, Father Time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I want Chuck.
Yeah, we got to get Chuck.
Listen, insiders, anybody who's got a way to get Chuck on, we need Chuck Norris
Yep.
on Inside Scoop. I want Chuck.
That should be a
I'm
banner.
trying to think of how that would go.
I don't know either, but I don't care. It'd be like, Chuck, whatever you want to do.
Right?
for
I'm
it.
just curious of how that would go. I'm curious as to.
Mark is a Chuck Norris black belt. He's under the system. He's saying he may hook us up with some. Yeah.
Oh, Mark.
And also, I was also thinking getting with Century and Mike Dillard. We could.
That's what I'm
always-
saying. Like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was at Waco, I talked with Mike for like 2 hours. There was a lot of cool things. So there's a lot of things. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
with Chuck,
that's crazy that now you have the only one. When I grew up, there were so many Virginia Chuck Norris schools when I was a kid.
wow.
But now, yeah, he's the only Chuck Norris school now in Virginia.
Because with that show, if it were to happen, we couldn't do 2, 3, however many shows. You sitting down with them. This is your shot. it's gonna have to be a 4 or 5 hour show, or as long as Chuck will sit there. Right?
First off, it's not gonna be a 4-hour show.
I know it's
know.
not going.
There's
to
no
be.
way in the world you're gonna have Chuck Norris sitting there for 4 hours talking to you.
No, exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
happening.
No, definitely
I
not.
don't
But-
know. Who knows?
I mean,
I'll go
he's
to
gonna
it.
give
You know
he's gonna
what?
give you 30 minutes, an hour, and then be like, all right, I gotta get out of here.
Here's what I'll say. If he would do it, we'll do it in person. I'll go there. Would you do
I
it? Jeff?
mean,
Would you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it?
yeah, I would.
I would go there and
Yeah.
bring all this
Yeah.
equipment with me and,
Yeah,
and set up and have all the cameras going. Like it'd be a show. It'd be a production.
Truthfully, we should go to the UFAF thing and do that. That's what we should do. To his
All right, look,
event in Vegas. But anyway, all right.
yeah. Like, we don't need to spill all the secrets.
Yeah, I know.
We know
Yeah,
people are watching.
What are we doing? All right. Anyways, next one. Man, there's so much to talk about. And what's funny is that we said, oh, well, who knows? We're just going to go. All right. Before we get to one of the other announcements that's happened, let's get into just one question that I've been thinking of. And this was kind of like the topic of the show was, and this was something that I still meant to text your uncle and just ask, because I didn't get to ask it on there. And, what is one habit that made a huge difference, or maybe a routine or something that you did that made a huge difference on the outcome of a fight or your martial arts or your competition that had nothing to do with martial arts, And so let's kind of ask each other that,
It's hard
what do
when you
you
say
think?
it has nothing to do with martial arts, because I was actually thinking about this today before you and I were talking about this, Jeff.
Mhm.
And I'm doing a quick workout. That's all I got time for. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, so much of what we do is just like, if it's a form and you're just drilling, like doing those sections, like you
Mhm.
just have to, like every day, you've got to do, all right, you got to do, 3 sections 3 times minimum, just to maintain, right? Just to be able to do that. Just so much of being a great kicker is just, doing just those little leg drills that seem mundane and monotonous. Just, it's nothing crazy that's over the top. And I used to tell people, like, listen, I'm pretty sure I could make anybody a pretty good kicker. I couldn't make you the greatest kicker in the world. I could make anybody a pretty good kicker. The formula is actually really simple. It is not easy. The formula is pretty simple. All right.
Right.
You're just not going to want to do it. So
Exactly.
when you say it has nothing to do with martial arts, that's the tricky one. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I will, Mark.
I'll say this. It doesn't have anything to do with martial arts, but it still has something to do with martial arts, right? Like you say, some people may get into a space of headspace, right? Like you have to try and find you, right? Because the problem with, I think that a lot of people they're trying to be somebody else right now. And in this, like they're trying to fight the same styles and stuff like that. You have to find what's best for you, right? You have to find what's best for you, right? Like, what are you good at, and then perfect that. I hate running. I despise running. My grandfather always wished that one of his offsprings ran track, because he ran the Penn relays, he ran track, he did all that stuff, but we were not track people. We don't like running. It is what it is. So in 2007, I was at the Pan Ams, and I fought in WKF. I fought the
that was like a double elimination
division
one, wasn't it?
Yep. I was the regular division and the team fights, right? And I ran through, I don't know, I had a lot of fights that weekend, and I was in the finals of each one of them: team fights, the overall, and WKF. On stage for all 3 of them.
Damn.
I lost to Ross at WKF for the final. I don't think I should have, but it just was what it was. They messed up the score. It was what it was. So then I had to turn around and fight team fights, right? And I anchored the team fight. And how they had it set up was, as soon as team fights was over with, the grands was fighting. So I anchored and then had to turn around and fight Alex Lane. So that I had to fight Ross in the team fight in the final, then turn around and had to fight Alex Lane. Alex Lane was my teammate. I'm on Paul Mitchell. Alex fought, I don't know if he went first or second, because he asked me, he's like, he asked me, do you want to anchor? I think he set me up. He said, do you want to anchor? I was like, yeah, I'll anchor. I got it. We got it. Whatever. We end up losing by 1 in the team fight, right? So that's 2 losses, right? 2 losses. And then the third one, I had to fight Alex, and I was winning. And then I did a stupid mistake. I just blitzed just as soon as, and he just threw his leg out there and he caught me right in the solar plexus. It wasn't a hard kick. It wasn't nothing. It's just, I went straight into it and my body shut down. I was standing there. I was trying to figure it out. Like, yo, my body is not responding. So Alex ends up, because I think he tied it with that. And then he just threw a kick and he got up by 2. And then he just kept me away with his sidekick, just kept me away. So that's 3 losses, right? And I was like, my body shut down. I was tired. I couldn't get back. And when I went back home, my uncle grilled me. Like, you fought, I don't think, like 17, 18 fights, and you were on fight. You got tired. You need to be running. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate running. So, I mean, I started running because I'm like, all right, I got to run this, that, and that. But then I found something that was a secret, a cheat mode. And I never got tired ever since. Not running. Insanity. Those insanity workouts. When I tell you, dude, I never got tired after that. Never got tired in a fight after that. That used to be my secret of staying. I would get up at 5 in the morning because I had to go to work. So I would get up at 5 in the morning, pop in the DVD, and I'm sitting there doing all that goofy looking stuff. But when I tell you it made a difference, like, yo, it changed everything for me. That next year, me and Ross were going crazy at it. Like it just was what it was. Like, I wasn't getting tired of any of those fights. It was just like small adjustments I had to make. But those things were a big thing. That to me was a big thing. Then the other thing that I had to figure out was I fight better when I'm mad.
When you're mad?
When I'm mad. So like if somebody was nice to me, I wouldn't be as focused. But if somebody said something stupid, like, or if I was mad that they beat a friend of mine, or they beat somebody, or they just one of the people that I just don't like, I just wanted to beat, I am locked in, and it's trying to get myself to be that focused in that. And that's something that's in life, or even right now. Like later in life, I find out I have like ADHD or whatever, and I'm always doing something different. Like that's why I'm always bouncing around. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And people are like, what? How do you learn how to do 3 instruments at the same time? Like, right. It's just me. But I find a routine and I stick to it. So once I find a routine, like, I'm going to focus on this. And then I just have to laser in and focus on that. So for me, it's knowing who you are. Like some people need to meditate, get the anxiety out. Some people need to work on this or do this. And some people just need to commit. Some people just need to commit and not be afraid. Like there's different habits you can make. And for me, it's coming up with a routine. This time I'm doing this. This time I'm doing this. This time I'm doing this. I'm eating this time. And then I go through it. And then I can get like I'm taking 3 certifications. I'm studying for 3 certifications at the same time. And I'm just like going through all this. Like that's me. If I'm only doing one thing, I feel like I should be doing something else.
You're trying to be a doctor, a pilot, and a lawyer at the same time?
No. No. It's the tech industry is very competitive. And if you don't get any certifications that, people are weird for you. So.
Well, Alex, you know what? Honestly, all 3 of our personalities are similar in that but we just do it in different things, right? You have like 3 jobs right now that you're doing and you've learned how to do and you make happen, For me, it's with all the different forms and stuff that I know or I'll be reading 3 books at a time, like I don't have just one book that I read and finish. Like I read 3 different books at a time. I'll have one that I read in the morning, one that I read, like there's different things like that, like I'll be learning 6 different forms at once, I'll be creating, honestly, like, again, I create 4 different forms a week, there's things like that our brains are able to do different things, so for me, there's so many things that over the past 5 or 6 years that I've learned that have helped me that I wish I did when I was younger, right? And
Dude,
oh my God, like it's
Yeah.
just like
I
Yeah.
hate.
like honestly,
I always hated when I was younger and to hear older people say, "Oh, if I was put what I know
know.
now in your body, oh my God, or if I go back to, oh my God," it's like you're like, yeah, whatever, old man, whatever. But now it's
No.
like, damn, I understand what they were saying. Like, Jesus, I wish I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
doing that way.
And what's
so
worse is if you look
yeah,
back
right
at
now,
videos of yourself
Oh, I hate it. I
and you're like,
hate it.
yo, I know. Me too. It sucks.
I
I hate
hate
it.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why, like,
I'm like,
honestly,
what was I doing?
yeah,
yes.
I can only imagine my uncle being mad at me, screaming at me, and I now
Oh.
understand why he was yelling. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I get it. Like, what was I thinking about?
but like for me, that's why like I don't take this period, this last, I don't know if it's my last, who knows, but this moment that I have right now where I'm still able to do things competitively at a high level, like I don't take it for granted, and because again, still for people to be talking about me at 40, like for me to put on a performance like that, a standing ovation at the AKA Warrior Cup at 40 years old, like come on, that should have happened when I was 18, 19, like but it's things that like if I would have been more focused on my diet when I was younger, like I did so much, but I never thought that I was in good shape. If I just
think I
thought,
probably would have
if I
fought.
just thought I was in good shape, I'd be fine. Because now, like Canelo said the other day, is that yeah, but Jeff, you don't have to worry. You're in so much better shape than everybody else. I was like, no, I'm not. And then I'm like, yeah, I am. Jeez. He's like, dude, you just did 14 forms. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like, okay, like just realizing, that thing of if you say you can, if you say you can't, you're right. Like the mental
Yeah.
aspect, So yeah, I mean, so it's exciting just to let that click in your head, and even things like labeling yourself. Okay, if I label myself as a kicker, well, then that's the only thing I'm going to get good at is being a kicker. If I
Yeah.
label myself as a Korean, okay, if I label myself as a martial, like whatever it is, like those things,
That's a
they
great point right there because I'll say that personally, I didn't really know like that I was like a really good kicker because of the school I was at. That's just what everybody did. Right. So I
Right.
didn't think there was anything different about that. Probably until I was like, I would say like I was in karate for like 10 years. Right. And then I started to realize like, wait a minute, I can do this thing a little bit better than them. And then people just started, and then that's when people would say, "Oh man, he's the kicker." And I'm like, "Yep,"
Right.
and I'm really good at it, and I like that positivity. I like that affirmation, so I'm just going to keep doing that thing because.
Right.
And listen, and this is some people don't want to admit this, but this is just the reality of it. So much of us come into this world, martial arts world, with a lot of insecurities.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We come into this thing with a whole lot of insecurities. And when you find something that makes you feel good, that whoa, wait, I can do this thing really good, right? You're like, yes, I want that a whole lot more. So I will say personally, 100%. About the time I realized like I'm good at this whole martial arts thing, this is all I'm doing. This is it. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be the freaking shit because nobody really cares who I am or what I'm doing over there. Like, I think you're cool because you're a blue belt and I'm a blue belt, and you could do a hook kick and I can do a hook kick. There, you want to be my partner? And like, this is amazing, right? And that's what we do just going into regular martial arts classes. Then we get into this competition game, whether we win or we lose, we realize we're in this whole thing together, and it's a wide range of great martial artists and massive martial arts skills, but we're still in the same party together. And we're like, holy crap, I want more of this. And then you do it a bunch, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. And now you're like, you have something you can hang your hat on to say, I'm good at this. And it takes Travis, you just mentioned it, right? It takes having someone who can really mentor you who's been there that can say, listen, I know you want to just do this all the time, but
Yeah.
there's more to you than this thing. Okay.
Right.
There's more to you than just this. And I will say, not enough of us have that, where there's someone who can tell you, like, listen, I know you want this. I know you feel like this is your identity. This is not your sole identity.
I was the, you know, it's crazy. I always fought that. Like, I was always the kid that, you know, I didn't tell people I did karate.
Right.
I didn't want, I want people to know I did karate. I didn't want people to know it. I didn't want people to do it. I've always been, I'm doing me. Like, I didn't like, as much as I love karate, I was going to be in my uncle's shadow. Right. So it's kind of like,
I could see
I don't want to do that. So I didn't want to be in politics. My grandfather and my dad were in politics. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm doing something completely different. I'm doing me. I'm doing what I am. Right. So I always had this fight going on with me of, because, you know, I would retire every 3 seconds. Like, it's like, yo, I'm done. I'm gone. SES is over with. I'm gone. You ain't gonna see me for a few years, and then I come back out and fight, and then I'm back out fighting for like 2 years. Now I'm gone. I'm back. Oh wow, I'm on JPM. All right, I'm here for 3 years. All right, I'm out. Like, just hit them up like, yo, you know what? Thanks everybody, but I'm out. It's like, oh, I'm going. Then I come back 7 years later. That was just me, because it was like, it always felt like that was home. But I need to get out and go do some other stuff and go do tech and prove I can do tech. I can go and prove I can do this or be wherever. So that was just how I was. Like, and when you look at the best in our sports, those are the people who have been dedicated and committed to it. Like, to be honest with you, like, when you look at Ray, that's what he did. When you look at Jason, that's what he did. Ujadi, that's what he did. Trevor, that's what they do. Like, they have a karate school and they compete. Like, when you look at those people, they are 100% committed. Look at Bailey. Like, he literally quit track and he's running. He's literally just, like, this is where I am. This is where I'm at. Like, so like, when you look at it, it's that level of commitment. And I think a lot of people don't have that level of commitment in our sport.
Who's one of the best competitors who wasn't a full-time martial artist? That's
Avery.
a good question.
Avery.
Avery.
There we go. You're right.
I mean, no, seriously. Like,
no,
I marvel at what he's being a lawyer in corporate law and then doing at this level, at this high. It's like, that's rare. Like, I sat back and was like, yo, that's just not.
Right.
And then to see the level of where he is now, like, man, I wish you could have been there at AKA. Man, just to see it in person, because it was a totally different experience.
He just keeps getting better.
Much better.
It's crazy.
It's nutty. It's nutty.
Well, one of the other. Oh, well, see, what I was going to say was, for me, because I was in such a small town, you know, and like being the karate guy was the thing that no one, you know, did. So that was kind of my thing. It was like, all right, I'm being me, being completely different than everybody else, you know, because pretty much you did whatever. You either played baseball, football, you were a farmer, or that was it, you know, like, or whatever your dad or mom did, you were pretty much doing that, right? It's changed a little bit now, but that was just the way it was. Like, you were doing exactly what your parents did. It was just the way it was, you know? And so for me to do completely different was that. But then I went to college to say, all right, this is going to be my one thing where I'm going to kind of do the norm, you know? And then, because everyone kept saying, oh, well, just open your school. You don't even have to go to college. Or stuff. Like, no, what? No. So I went in for sports management, sports administration, was going to go to grad school, going to do everything else. And my plan was to get into the big wigs of the sports thing and then help sport karate that way. Right. Well, I realized that, you know, the sports thing isn't all that it's meant to be. Right. And you end up getting in a job that's like, wait, this sucks. What am I doing? Yeah.
Owning your own business is a little bit better.
Yeah. And so then it was just, you know, and honestly, what's crazy is this week, 16 years of opening my school is actually this Friday. So it's kind of funny how
and claps to
you all around. Yeah, we went all around like that, right? But yeah, you know, so that whole thing, it's like, I'm like, no, karate is always going to be my backup plan. And so I always felt like I was running away from, when I really look at it, I was running away from who I really was, right? And then I'm still glad that 24 or 23, it did take me long. Some people run away for it for way too long, right? But at least I figured it out pretty quick. So that was good. So,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
know,
wait.
this
So
is
did you answer your question then? Did you answer your own question? What's the habit that made a big difference for you?
There were so many, but I mean, I guess for me was one was diet. I mean, honestly, like I really wish, you know, I would have, because I noticed when I changed my diet and I went to tournaments, I didn't get tired, and I always thought, and then, but the other one was labeling yourself, like thinking.
You gotta stop eating sushi.
Thinking, yeah. No. Oh, that's true. Actually, I did. I stopped eating rice for like 3 years, right?
Oh wow.
Now, yeah. So like that was what was crazy.
Oh,
We were like,
rice.
well, for a while I did, like, you know, I was trying to go through all the different gamuts of health, and now it's funny. It's just for me now. It's just knowing what works for me, not doing what everyone else does, or, you know, just seeing what works for me and continuing to learn how my body grows, my nutrition changes. So, yeah, just focusing more on that has been the biggest thing to help me, you know, with that, you know, and then that next thing of really asking for help.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's
still a problem for me.
I know. Well, and because again, you know, I've shared with this before, from age 14 to 24, I didn't have a karate school, right? And when John Valera moved to California, like that was it. Like there wasn't Zoom back then. We weren't doing lessons online, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I wasn't at my instructor school for a little bit, and I was just teaching. So really for all the time, I didn't have an instructor. It was just me. So now asking someone like Ross to help me with things, asking coaches, different people for opinion, you know, is a good thing. But also the other times, sometimes I realize when I'm doubting myself is when I'm asking too many people. And I'm like, you know what? Just be you.
That's a good
Just
observation. Yeah. That's a good observation.
Yeah,
You're asking too many,
so it's like
many
there's
people.
so many different.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. I'm saying that just like, yeah, that's true.
Like, dude, you know what to do. Shut up. Stop. Just chill. Get to
Right.
you know what to do.
Do it.
Go do it. Yeah. Like
when I was learning how to play the sax, I would ask a lot of questions, and he said, "Did you know what you did wrong?" I said, "Yeah," but I would ask these questions. He's like, "All right, at some point, you just got to do it." Said, so you know how to play the note. Like that's it. Like there is no other things. Like there's no other trick to it.
Right.
Just do it. Like it's nothing else to do it. So you just skip it. All right, and then your body eventually. Honestly, a lot of times I would play stuff wrong, and I would think I would never get it, and then the next day I play it perfectly. It's like your body just knows how to adjust to certain things. Your brain is very intelligent. It's going to pick up on things. So as long as you continuously do something, you're going to end up getting it right. As long as you keep trying to perfect that thing, and not just you know play it wrong.
You know, one more
All
thing.
right, next question.
Funny. Oh, I know. Well, one more thing that's funny. Most people go to martial arts business summits and realize, okay, I need to stop competing more so that way I can take care of my business. What's funny is that when I started doing all the business things, I realized that I need to get back or focus more on competing. Not like going, but like it was something that is such a big part of my heart that like I wasn't being my full self to my students or my business or to myself by denying that, right? It's like, and actually my business continues to grow because of my students seeing me continue to go after what I want to do, right? Or my goals and stuff. So,
you know, I've always been an advocate of competition in martial arts because it gives you a goal. It gives you something to do. Like, because martial arts is so repetitive, right? You'll be doing the same forms every day, and you have to have those students some kind of a goal or something to pursue. And if there's no goal, and you're worried about, if I have an issue with a lot of martial arts business because it becomes more business than martial arts. It becomes more like in the way I grew up and seeing, like we talked up at the beginning about the cultural and community impact of it. I get irritated when I see when we quote unquote McDojos or things like that. That it just kind of bothered me a little bit because like if you're constantly thinking business, at what point is the quality and care for the kids and the adults? And because there's a community that's there, not just it shouldn't be how can I get more money out of these people? Like to me that's a lot. That's almost the opposite of what the martial arts is supposed to be about, right? Like you're supposed to be growing yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot more to it than can I get more money out these people? But I get it. We're in America. This is
it should be not what I can get out. It should be how can I give more to them?
Mm-hmm.
And
the thing that people and professionals miss is that when people do want to be in competition and they make that decision, right, it requires a whole lot more training. So guess what they're going to do more of?
They need to be at your
and
school.
then guess what they're going to spend their time, money, and energy on? And where are they at? If you can facilitate that, you didn't. One, you gain like student retention, right? Boom. You just if they're an our competitor, you just locked them up for like at least a couple of years. Boom, just like that. Boom, locked in. But now you got more time, money, and energy. All right, boom. But now you also have probably a part-time staff member. Bang. All right. So it just seems to me no brainer. But then we go back to earlier, kind of what I just said a little bit ago. There's so many of us get into this because of insecurities.
True.
So, yeah. Well, and also too, you get so many parents that now have like are involved, heavily involved. You know, like martial arts competitor parents become some of the most loyal to your school. Yeah, I mean,
but they also are the they're the most interesting people.
Dude, this was crazy. Here's a great example of this, right? Just a tiny little thing. Okay, so when a kid does a musical form, okay, well, they have to have their own speaker and sound system, but they all kind of just blindly have the exact same speaker,
same one,
right? And I'm looking, and now only because now I know what these things are. I know what that is. I know how much that costs. It's $1,000 speaker. And I am like, none of you thought that maybe there's a different option? And then that's the first thing I thought is I was like, why does everybody have the exact same freaking thing? Like, that's stupid. And then I stopped and went, everybody has the same thing. And I'm like, look at the money that's in this crap. Like, look at that. Like,
well, I knew a long time ago when people were paying $100 per division at Super Grands that there was money, right?
Yeah.
Like that blew my mind when I found out how much Super Grands was costing and how much, and then the business behind it about like, you know, if you stay at a hotel and and then it turned into me. I started looking and just started my mind just like, of course, I started adding everything up like, oh, it's money here. Like, oh, there's money to be made here.
Yeah.
Which, you know, frustrates me on the business side of it. I look at it and I look at our martial arts, our industry, our sport martial arts industry, and look at it and just see how much money's left on the table.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it, but there's a lot of money that's left on the table. And it's kind of, and honestly,
everybody should be eating. Everybody should be eating. And it really, it breaks my heart sometimes when I see good martial artists and good martial arts people not eating the way that they should. You know what I mean?
Well, I think our sport is a tragedy of. I don't want to. I always feel like you're picking up on the promoters, but at the same time, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? Like. Correct. If we did it this way in the 70s and it was working, and we did it this way in the 80s and the 60s, it was working, why should we change?
Right.
Even though the times have changed, and we'll adjust a little bit, and we'll adjust a little bit more, and we'll adjust a little bit more. But the actual foundation is not conducive to what it could be today. And when you see something like the gaming community, Like that's just insanity to me. When you look at how much the gamers are making and how much all this stuff is, I'm like, wow, like because their business model is different than what ours is, right? Like there's a complete different business model that's there, and there's a lot of different things in marketing goes. You shouldn't be reliant on throwing up a flyer and think that's how you're gonna get people to come to your tournament. Like when you really sit back and look at the business model of Sport Martial Arts, it's just archaic and old, and and honestly, I think it's not going to change until for years, but it is what it is until somebody else comes along and changes it, and then it's going to be an infighting because trying to get people to change habits.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing.
We're looking into the. I mean, I think some things are going to be happening with that anyway. Just with people starting to figure out, okay, how can we make this WACO thing happen in the U.S., right? How can we, for that to happen, it's got to be completely different than what we already do. So there's so many different things. So I don't want to get too much more into that because, but I just feel like, that there are a lot of different ways for things to grow. I think a lot of us know, but we don't know. No one wants to really put in the work to make that happen. They realize how hard that's going to be, right? But
I think,
go ahead.
Well, I think it's going to take somebody who honestly takes the entire model and throws it out and starts from scratch.
Yep.
Like literally starts from scratch, because I don't think what is working today is working. Like honestly, like we kind of hinted at it earlier about the karate schools who don't like going to competition. They're telling you don't go to competition because it's losing us money. But at the same time, there is a way for competitions to be actually gaining you money, making you money. It's a marketing tool. It literally can be, right? Like, so it's something that, like, one of the things I wanted to box when I was in second grade. I wanted to box. You don't want to know the reason why I wanted to box? Because I went to school and another kid came in there with a championship belt. He had boxed at some event and he had won. So I wanted that belt, right? I wanted to get that belt. So I wanted to box. So when they came to me later that year and said, "Hey, do you want to do martial arts? Your uncle's opened up a karate school." I said, "No, I want to box." My mom said, "No." She said, "You go into karate. You do karate. You need some discipline." And so that was the difference. But I say that because literally, if somebody wins at a karate tournament, I know a lot of people who, when those kids see a trophy or a medal or a belt or something like that, or a plaque, other kids are going to want to do it. And they're going to want to try and figure out, how do I get there? Where do I have to go to try and do that thing so I can be rewarded and feel good about myself? Exactly. But most people are pessimistic, and then because they, as a instructor, may have gotten their butts whooped and didn't know how to win, they don't want that feeling to go to their kids, and it's passed on to their kids. So that's instead of looking at it,
like
it is, but they're not looking at it that way.
Because my instructor was a championship kickboxer, right? He's Scott Masterton. Here he was an undefeated championship kickboxer. But I still look at him like, today, because like really he probably still kicked my ass, right? But anyway, he would never say that. He said all the time, like, "Alex, you would just absolutely kill me, right? If we ever had a 0.5, you would just wipe the floor with me." And then when he would teach, all he's doing is lifting up everybody else. Right? Look at how great they are. This is what you can be. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, look at what you are. Right. And he's like, no, this is what you can be. So if you're doing this, it could one day, it could look like this. Right.
Yes.
I'm like, what about you? Can you do that? Like, no, I tried. I'm not as good as this person. Really, this is who you need to be looking at. Right. Like, oh, okay. Well, how come you can't do it? Should I be going with you? Well, he is who I trained. Oh,
yeah.
Well, then that means I could look like that too. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
There's different ways to motivate people. Some people respond to positive. Some people challenges. Some people respond to negativity. It really depends on the person. And as an instructor, you have to understand what motivates that person, what gets that
The
person.
the good ones understand how to change, how to
Right.
adapt.
How to get into that person's mind, and that's part of being a good instructor. If you just teach somebody how to kick some punches, you're technically not that great of an instructor.
No, exactly. And I think
Make that person better than they were the day before. It's not about them being the best ever. It's about them being better than they were yesterday.
right. And now I don't think
also
every great
understanding.
competitor, Alex. Yeah, well, I was going to say I don't think every great competitor is always a great teacher, but
That's
I
correct.
do think you get, like, for me, I got way better once I started teaching. Like I like everything just clicked for me.
Same.
When I opened my high school, it was, like everything just started getting way better. Like my results, everything, because I understood things differently. I understood not just, it wasn't just about me, but I also understood what the other competitors were thinking too. Like when I was younger, I didn't get that, because I understood. I've been around enough different people. I've been around, there's just so many things, and you understand your techniques better from teaching it to people, right?
Mhm.
Well, and also learning styles.
Yes.
Everybody's got different learning styles. Okay,
Yeah.
like here's a perfect example. Mike Bates is in the chat. Okay, so Mike's got two extremely talented kids that are martial artists, Micah and Miles. Miles is one of the. I'm not even going to say it. He is one of the fastest. He has one of the fastest splits from end to end. If someone just says go, or someone were to time that, it's like it could be up there with Elijah Everill. That's how fast he is. Right? He doesn't always put it together at the right time, though. But it is fast. Right? So Miles, if I were to tell Miles something, now a lot of people are this way. I have to explain it and then visually show him. So I might show him a picture of something, like a video, like, no. This is the angle. You're cutting way too far. Right?
Mhm.
Micah, I can just say it. Like, no, don't just drop. Don't just axe kick and let your leg drop. Like you can't be in that spot. Oh, okay. I won't be in that spot. Right? And it's just like that. Right? And they're just two totally different people. Same mom and dad, right? Everything's the same, but you can't expect that when you tell somebody something in a class of 20, 30, 40, 50 people, that everybody's going to get it the same. It's just not going to be the same.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, it's always, every single person. Listen, me always having a hard time communicate with my son, Wesley. Like it's difficult. We're completely different. And the way I'm like, you've been in this long enough, you should know what I'm talking about. And it's like, wait a minute, no, I shouldn't just expect. I have to break it down, talk to him differently. But honestly, when I coach him, it's when it's some of the best time we have communication. You know what I mean? It's just kind of funny because I know I have to keep it simple and not, and then there's some people that say way too much. I'm like, hey, that's not going to work. Calm it down, like it's not going to work, like keep it this way, it's just fun, man. Oh man.
It's funny. I want to share with this about that. So I'm training both my kids today, right? They were in class, and with Zachary, we were working on just like angling backside and then blitzing, angling front side and then blitzing. Like, yeah, he's not even 5 and kid can get it. But if I go, what? No, I just said, rear foot first. If I said it like that, he'll break down. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah. Now,
Louisa, she's doing jump spinning back kicks, right? That's what she was working on today. Like, it's just crazy to me sometimes. I'm like, she's doing that because I'm like, you got it. All right, I don't know how you can do this. I know I couldn't, but let's go for it. And one point she kind of like fell, and I am like, what the heck would make you think it's okay to fall? What would make you think that this was an okay thing to do? You're going to look at me and say, that's all right? Totally okay. Doesn't break down at all. She's like, oh, fine. And then goes out there and lights it up. I'm like, damn, all right. Okay. Two totally different people.
Yeah. It's nutty, right? It's nutty. Oh man. All right. So this has been a great show. This has been a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I know
So many things we
next
didn't even
week
get to.
yeah, I know. Next week I want to discuss more of the Sage Northcutt thing when we found out some more details about
Yep.
that. This will
Lot
be
more to
a
the
real
story.
quick one. Alex announced today that Prize Fighter was no longer going to be having a team. The sponsor decided right now they're really just launching this new brand. So they realized, okay, let's get this going first before we decide to commit to this full team right now in Sport Karate. So maybe it'll be a ways, who knows? But so there's a lot of, Alex brought out some people that, or either haven't been fighting for a while or were, getting back into it. So he got them out. So who do we think is going to show up to some other teams, or do we think they're going to stop just because Alex isn't doing it anymore? We got
But you know
Ryan
what?
George.
There was a while where Alex, this is, years ago, decades ago, where Alex had WKF. And sometimes he would just be like, guys, I'll cover the entry fees, when I can. But he had a good culture within his team. I think they pantsed people too much. Sorry, Alex. All right. Did you guys ever notice that? You didn't know that, Travis?
What?
Oh,
You
yeah.
shared,
He would
They would
just go
pants
up, like
people.
they would just prank people. And I watched it. They would just go up and they just pants people. I'm not even
All
playing
right.
out. This is in Steve Hart days. Oh, big time. All right. He and Ray Mendoza would just go up and just like bloop. They would just get guys. All right. Like just nutty. Right. Probably shouldn't do that at a karate tournament. I'm just saying, not everybody's got the same equipment on.
I'm
But anyway.
just saying, just don't do that.
But
don't do that.
You better be
Alex-
friends with the person you do that to. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. Alex is good for sport karate. I think he should be around. I think he should be there. And I think if people are like, you know what, I don't have like a bunch of people, that I'm with at my school that are competing. I want to go, at least have a team to fight with. Hey, there could be something there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think he's good for sport karate. And I think if guys are going to go out there and fight, let's do it.
Well, here's the deal. So those guys are free agents now, right? So
Are they?
Are we
Because I'm just curious. Didn't they sign contracts?
no, the
I mean,
contract
essentially,
is supposed to be starting in January. Yeah, I guess. I don't
but
know.
there's got to be 2 ends of the contract.
This was curious. Like, but does that void the contract?
I
mean,
think so.
If
Yeah.
I have a contract with you that says, okay, I'm going to pay you X for you doing Y, but I'm never going to pay you X. And I go, listen, I'm not paying you X. Well, then I'm telling you, I'm not fulfilling my end of the contract. Why would I expect you to fulfill yours?
I think their contracts are null and void. That's what I think.
So
now
it's good.
But who said?
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't
saying.
know.
Like,
Yeah,
I know
I
the sponsor dropped out, and he's saying Prize Fighter is not happening. But I was just curious. It's just they signed the contract.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? Like,
so I see. You're saying that, like, listen,
they may not be on Prize Fighter, might not be there. Are they still on a team that might be another team? Like is it a completely different new team that just comes out of nowhere and hey, we're I don't know, Fighter Prize.
From what they said, he said they're all free agents now. So
okay. Well,
so are we going to see Ryan George on another team? Are we going to see Jeremy Francoeur, out there? Are we going to see Zayn? Are we going to see Obeda? They had a couple.
I'm gonna go say no.
I see a lot of those guys were kind of brought back, right?
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no. You're not going to really see them. They're going to come out and fight when they want to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't anticipate them.
Yeah. Unless
being on the
someone
circuit
new,
a lot. I mean,
yeah.
wait,
unless
like
someone
everybody
wants-
you name with the exception is Zayn. I'm not even sure how old is Zayn.
He's probably 30.
Uh,
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how old Zayn is. So I
don't think
honestly
he's
don't know.
that old. Yeah.
I think he's in his 20s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe like mid to late 20s. I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. But when you say Ryan, Albeda, who else?
Jeremy.
Jeremy, like these are grown men with families. Like
Right.
they
Right. Exactly.
they
They
got
don't-
businesses they're trying to run, right? Like, so
Exactly.
I don't know necessarily if they're going to chase like something they would have done. I don't think they might not have the desire to keep going
Correct.
out there and competing. And if they weren't competing when they were on the team or when they weren't on the team, why
Why
Yep.
now?
yeah, so I don't think I don't anticipate them competing that much. I mean, honestly, where is Jeremy going to compete at? Beside, I mean, he's running his own league, and then he's going to turn around and go to compete at tournaments.
No. Jeremy
Frank
Frank.
Jeremy Francoeur.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
He'll be at Quebec, you know.
Yeah, he'd be
So,
at Quebec. I just don't see
Yeah.
these things actually. These guys, I think that once you get older, you got more responsibilities. You got other things you got to pay attention to. So I don't know. Like with the exception of Zayn, and I know Zayn, he got as many tournaments he possibly can get down there in Mexico and in South America, and he's probably getting sponsored to go to those different events in that region as well.
Right.
So there's no real necessary need to come back over here. Didn't they say he got Roman Roman or something like that? He approached Roman or something like that.
Well, yeah, but no, he Zach Killen was actually supposed to be on the team.
Zach, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Zach. So now there's
Yeah.
no reason for Zach to come over or just not to,
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I don't think we'll see.
I think the only thing with Zach would be a U.S. team. He said yes to a U.S. team, so the only thing now would be maybe
Which
someone
one is
else who
actually
has
gonna
that
be
type.
able to get him.
Right. But
Yeah.
who wants to do that, right? I mean, so I don't know, but I think the plan was for.
Might
I
end
don't
up
think
improper.
Yeah, I don't think the plan was for him to come over that much here, but
Right.
more
They have to
for
fake an Italian accent.
Probably
to get on top.
dime.
him, Zayn, and someone else to fight over in Europe more. I think.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see that. And as far as them coming back out, first off, I have been doing my own thing, so I haven't really paid attention. What is the sponsor building?
So
what are they building?
it was more like a company, like like an apparel company, like a boxing.
Like
I think like almost
kind
like
of Hayabusa-ish.
Sort of, yeah, but more like a Everlast type thing where they do boxing and combat sports and different things, but they were going to go into different realms. They were going to have, I think, MMA and then a kickboxing segment and then a point fighting set. So yeah, kind of like Hayabusa.
How that turned out, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, it comes down to something else that's an issue with ours. Like I've been saying this entire thing is that the model is wrong.
Right.
Basically, when you looked at it, they probably looked at it and said, well, what are we really getting out of sponsor? What's the return on our value of sponsoring a team?
Right.
And they probably looked at the cost value and was like, no, this probably isn't worth it. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, if we're trying to get this off the ground right now, we don't have disposable income just to be given away, and there's no guarantee that we're getting any money back off of this. So why are we doing this? So, especially if they're trying to be in other things. So, and maybe sponsoring an MMA event might be more. They might be looking at it and saying they may make more money that way. So,
you know, it's. There absolutely has to be something in for the sponsor, right? Otherwise, what are we doing? Like I remember, like I did a performance for the halftime shows at the Timberwolves before, and you essentially have to pay to do that, right? You don't, not like dollars. You have to buy tickets. Right.
Mhm.
So they'll say like, oh, and they would definitely want like something like a karate school or like, that's why so many dance studios do it, because they'll have a huge performance of like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people. And then they say, okay, now you have to buy 200 tickets. Right. And you're like, and then we'll sell them to you at a discounted price.
Yeah.
Right. You buy all those tickets, and then now everybody from your dance studio is going to go. They just buy their tickets from you. You charge whatever you want, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, okay, so now they made all this money. That's one way, but it could be there's got to be something in for a sponsor.
There-
Like what?
But
what
there
am I
has to
gonna
be.
Yeah.
But
get?
that's the issue that our sport faces all the time when it comes to sponsorship. It's what is it that so they, like I
What are
said
they-
before, what are they going to
Model.
get out of it? Right?
Right.
Like that what is the sponsor getting out of it? What is this? What is the value, the return on value that I'm going to get? So that's why we lose a lot of sponsorships. I mean, like when you stop and look at it, it's really only one true sponsor, which is Paul Mitchell. I'm really
That's
thinking
the only
about
one.
it. Right? Like, I mean, you can say top 10, but
Yeah.
No, it's Paul
I mean,
Mitchell,
you can
and
say
it's a
G-Force.
100% a charitable gift. 100%
Yes.
charitable gift.
Yes, no, but
Because,
that's
I mean, even
that's
that,
what all
Trav,
of them are.
have you ever bought a Paul Mitchell product?
No, I'm not going to tell anyone if I did. Sorry. I'm just kidding.
Prior to me being on the team, no. It's just
Well, even
when I
since,
was
have
on
you?
the team,
Have-
I was getting everything I wanted. So no. Afterwards, there may have been a time where I may have bought something.
Look at that.
But no,
So-
my whole thing
Yeah, you
was
said
I wanted
was
to
so
beat
sensitive.
the Paul Mitchell people, so I wasn't gonna buy
Yeah,
them. When I wasn't on
exactly.
Paul Mitchell, I wanted to beat them, so I'm not buying anything and having
Yeah.
that in my house. But yeah, no. So there has to be like we said before, it has to be some kind of Century is, yes, you could say Century.
Yeah.
Yes, Century
that's
is
a
yeah,
sponsor.
that's a sponsor.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they just came back.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They
the past
literally just
5
came
years.
back.
The death of
Yeah.
Macho kind of helped.
Yeah, right. So it's like, wait, now they're back, and so that they just came back and they're putting things in. But if you note, I don't know, I haven't been out. I didn't go to the Warrior Cup. Were they there this year?
Yeah, they were.
So they had the booth and everything.
Yep.
Century was there.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
All right,
I
cool.
mean,
They-
there's so many possible sponsors. I mean, like
There's a
I
lot.
mentioned, like Bose. Bose had that. Everybody has that freaking same speaker, that 8-inch battery powered loudspeaker. Everybody's got the same dang one. But like,
Look, hey, shut up.
I
Yeah,
know,
shut up.
Just
I know.
Hey,
That's
we're
the-
not giving out
that's the
free
issue.
advice. I'm just saying, hey, we're
I
not
know.
giving out the free stuff. Like, no, we're not doing that. So I'm just saying the business model
Yep.
is wrong for our sport. Like, and it's because, I mean,
Yeah.
but let's be realistic. Back in the 80s, back in the 90s, when they would go out and try and get these sponsors and approach the sponsors, the sponsors were like, "Are you guys on television? If you're not on television, there's no point in us doing it because we're only going after TV spots and stuff like that." So therefore,
that's
since they're not on television, guess what became the goal for us?
To get
Was to get on television.
Yep.
And so now everybody wants to be on television. And not looking at that television has become a dying medium. But I'm not about to get out here and keep talking about this
Right,
stuff.
right, right.
Just
Yeah.
hey, it just is what it is. Keep
Which is
trying
why
to get
Paul
on
Mitchell
television.
pays for the television spot.
It just is what it is, man. It is what
Well,
it is. So
there's a
We
lot
should be
more. I
grateful
mean,
that they do
yeah.
that. We really should, because with the minimal amount of viewership that we have,
Yeah.
what would we be if Paul Mitchell wasn't there? Like I said, this is a 100% charitable gift that they give to us as martial artists.
that's right. Y'all need to be
What?
thanking Steve Babcock.
No, really? Yeah, because
Yeah.
he is integral to that whole thing.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
What would we be if
Century
if
won the
there
gear
was
with-
no Paul Mitchell? What in the world?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah, I was wearing my shirt this week too.
Well, I mean, that's kind of interesting conversation. Did Century?
I don't know if they did. I think right now it's a two-headed, horse. It's them in top 10.
Yeah.
Because
at the end of
and
the
now
day-
Century is involved in Waco as well. So
Yeah.
So it's
Macho went belly up essentially, and ASG said, "I don't want to deal with you guys no more."
Well. Once again, ASG was it was charity.
Yeah.
I mean,
Charity, yep.
honestly, when his daughter stopped competing, you stopped seeing him, and when
Well,
he
that's what
stopped
said
seeing
when
him,
he was on the show.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
And he said, if
Yep.
all I wanted to do was just sell gear, I would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't. He had this team,
But-
he had that team, and he had this, and he just kept whatever he'd make, he'd throw it right back.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just, you know, it
Yep.
is what it is, man. Our sport is what it is. It just needs a new guidance, a new a light. to everybody
But
follow.
you know what?
New
It's
North
still-
Star.
Yes, but you know what? It's still fun and it's exciting.
Yes.
And you know what? Like there's still so many great stories, and that's why like we do this every week, because there is a lot of different fun things to look at and talk about. So
Wait, is
oh,
that
yeah.
Julie Swold.
is that what y'all trying to get?
Well, I
Julie
talked
on?
to her at the Diamonds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It was just because you know what you do when you go and you're like, oh, this person's gonna be going up, and they're in the finals, and they're on stage, and you're just like, oh, there's an open seat, and you go, and I'm sitting right next to Julie Swold, and I'm like, shoot my professional shot.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And she's like, oh, I wouldn't have much to say. And I'm like, Julie, as much as you don't think you'd have much to say, I think we would absolutely be fantastic for the sport.
Yeah.
Can we make this happen? She's like, okay, let's talk later. And we did not. So
Of course
whatever.
not.
Yeah.
So,
We'll work on.
All right. Well, you know what you could get on, and possibly, and he would talk a lot. Babcock.
I
Oh yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, soon.
Ian
I
is
think next one.
fantastic Rhode Island accent.
Soon we're gonna be having on as well the Rodriguez again, as we'll be talking about Ocean State with them. As again, they're upping the price.
New commercial loading.
New commercial look. Get ready. All right, Alex. Let's finish this. All right. I can't wait to talk
This
to you
has
about
been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
it. I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thanks, Trav.